Hey, what's up? I'm back. So most of you know that Bloxburg is kind of dying. People are quitting or getting bored of the game due to various reasons, but if you want to hear more on those issues in a more detailed form, you can check out my friend Aquoleo's video he made on it. The link will be in the description. But I want to solely focus on how to bring back that excitement into Bloxburg. A large majority of people lose interest in playing the game after a while due to boredom and lack of ideas, and based on the title of this video, there are probably 3 reasons why I clicked on it. Number 1, you're an early Bloxburg player that's been playing the game for years and have built almost anything and everything you can think of. Number 2, you're a new Bloxburg player interested in what things can be built in Bloxburg to further increase your building skills. Or number 3, you're a returning viewer on my channel and just tuning in to show some support. If you are, I love you, thank you. In this video, I'm giving 25 different build ideas that can help bring back role-playing in the community, or give ideas that might get you excited to get back into playing Bloxburg. Most of these builds will be commercial type builds, so like cafes, stores, etc. And these ideas will be ranked 3 different ways: easy, moderate, and difficult. These are just to give a rough idea on what might be doable for you based on your build style, capability, game pass limits, and overall experience with building in Bloxburg. Before we start the video, I just want to say thank you so much for 500 subscribers. I feel like in every video when I set a sub goal, you guys managed to surpass it more than I could ever imagine. If you haven't already subscribed, make sure to, because look how many of you are watching my videos but still aren't subscribed. Like, come on, we're approaching 1K soon, and I'd love you to see more of my videos in the future. Okay, anyways, let's get on to the video. Okay, so let's start with the easy builds. These are the builds that early Bloxburg players, or players that have been playing the game for more than a year or so, have built at least once in their Bloxburg career. The first one on the list is a cafe. Cafes are pretty simple to make, they're pretty affordable, and you don't have to have a lot of building experience to make it. Number 2 is a restaurant. These are a little more upscale from a cafe. They're kind of put to a higher standard, but as long as you find some inspiration photos or make sure you put a lot of effort into it, people will definitely visit it. Number 3 is a convenience / corner store. These are a little more difficult to make. You have to have a lot more patience when you're placing down items like produce and shelving and all that stuff. It's more on the difficult side, but it's still in the easy category because it's pretty simple to make. Number 4 is an apartment / apartment complex. This can be either just the interior, you can make the exterior. For an apartment complex, you can even rent out the apartments to people in the server. It's a great way to make money, but also just to show your creativity, because you can make different themed apartments for different specific people, and it's just overall a really cool build idea. Number 5 is a townhouse. These are very similar to apartment complexes. You can do a townhouse complex, or just a singular townhouse for you and like a roleplay family or something. Number 6 is a bakery. I built this on my channel. I highly suggest making one. They're really cute. I just love them. Number 7 is a daycare. This is pretty simple to make on the same for like the rest of these on the list, but I would say you use a lot of items that you normally typically don't use in like a house, and it can boost your creativity, because if you don't use a lot of color, this is the perfect time to use a lot of color. It expands your comfort zone and it's a little more creative. Not a lot of people tend to do it anymore, so it'd be great for roleplay servers. Number 8 is a flower shop. This is more on the creative side. You might need to have like a transform plus tool or rescale tool or something, but yeah, and it's a little more difficult to make, but I still think it's really cute. Number 9 is a lemonade stand. These are one of the most simplest things to make. You can even add them just to your house plot. It doesn't have to be a plot on its own. It's a great roleplay idea if you have little kids or something like that, and as long as you advertise it properly within a server, a lot of people will go. So now we're moving on to the moderate. These are more on the upscale builds. They tend to require more game passes and a lot more effort and time and dedication put into these. So the first example is a school. Schools are very difficult to make depending on like what type of school it is. So in elementary school, it tends to be a lot smaller. You might not have to put as much effort into it. They tend to be really colorful, just depending on the classroom. But if you make, let's say, a middle school or a high school, you have to add a lot more classes. You have to make it way bigger. It's a more bigger project for you to do. Number 2 is a university. Very similar to a high school, except for this most likely has dormitories, so it will expand your comfort zone, not only by making classrooms, but making an in-house dorms at the same time. Number 3 is a movie set. This I have not seen people build really. The only 2 people that I've actually seen build this is Capto and I Cotton Cloud. Capto is more of a project and Cotton Cloud was more of a video idea for role-playing. I think movie sets are great ideas for a little like role-play series or just like a fun event that if you want to hold, it's a pretty cool idea. Number 4 is a town/city. So many people make these, but I feel like it's just a great idea to do. It boosts your creativity. You have to build so many different stores. It's basically all of the easy builds just put into one huge build. It might take a lot of time, and it's okay if it takes a lot of time, but as long as you put your effort into it, it will definitely pay off, and it's a great place to roleplay. Number 5 is a big store replica. What I mean by this is building a store. So like a Target, a Walmart, a supermarket, some big store that is a replica of a real life franchise. Number 6 is a Japanese or Korean style restaurant. French Rose has just made a new video on that. Shout out to her. That was really cute. But I feel like not as many people tend to do these types of builds, which is crazy because they are so beautiful. And even though they do take a lot of time to build, I think it's totally worth it and so many people would visit your restaurant. Number 7 is a skyscraper. I have not seen a lot of these builds. I've probably seen maybe 1 or 2, but if you put a lot of effort into it, it definitely pays off. They are beautiful. They are amazing builds and something you should be proud of if you've ever built one. Number 8 is a neighborhood. What I mean by this is a block with houses on it. This means making multiple houses on one street. And a lot of people have done this. Most people just do it for roleplay purposes, but I think it's just a great idea. Let's say if you're going to architecture school or you just need an idea for what many houses could look like, this is a great idea to brainstorm. And then you could just put them in one big project. Number 9 is a farm. There is a pre-built farm in the Bloxburg catalog, but I think building your own is just way worth it. Not only for money, but just for building purposes. I feel like you get to expand your creativity, and I don't see a lot of farms, and if I do, they tend to delete them super quickly. So as long as you're able to keep your farm, I think it's totally worth it. And finally, the difficult builds. These are the builds that require a lot of skill. They're very difficult to make. They take a lot of time, and it's just a lot of work to do. So I would recommend these builds for experienced Bloxburg players, people who have practically every single game pass, and people who build on Bloxburg on a regular and tend to do more realistic builds. So the first one on this list is a replica of a famous landmark. This can be in the Eiffel Tower, the Golden Gate Bridge, stuff like that. These are very difficult to make. I have tried building the Eiffel Tower so many different times. It is such a difficult task to do. So if anyone has built the Eiffel Tower, kudos to you. That is so difficult to make. Number 2 is an airport. I know Capto just made a video on building an airport. These I see somewhat a lot of, but also at the same time I don't. I highly suggest making the airport. It is a lot of work, but they sometimes turn out really beautifully, and I would 10 out of 10 recommend building one. Number 3 is a stadium. As you can tell, a lot of these builds are based off of Capto's builds. He built 2 different stadiums, a hockey stadium and then a baseball field. Those builds were so crazy. Like, if you can build anything similar to that or close to that, kudos to you. It is ridiculously hard to do, but it is so pretty, it's so beautiful, it's so amazing. Would recommend doing a stadium. Number 4 is a castle. I see some of these a lot of the time, but I tend to not see a lot of detailed ones. So if you can make one like similar to, like, I've never watched this, but like the Game of Thrones, I don't know if they have a castle in that or anything, but building like a medieval themed castle with like ivy and bricks and all that stuff is gonna be really pretty. It's definitely gonna be really hard to build because it's probably gonna be on a big scale. So if you can make them, that would be amazing. I would definitely love to tour one. Number 5 is a theme park. So Disneyland, Universal Studios, even a fair, something like that. The rides don't have to be workable. A lot of people tend to do Disneyland. I've never seen a Universal Studios one, and the fairs are a little lower scale than Disneyland or Universal Studios. You can go ham, you can figure out whatever you want to do for a fair, but a theme park is a really cool build to make. Number 6 is a famous city. This could be Paris, Rome, LA, something that has to do with like those landmarks. So if you build like, let's say, the landmark, might as well just build the city around it. I mean, it's a great idea. You can put 2 in 1. And finally, the last on our list is a replica of a movie. So this is like the Coraline house. It could even be Gru's lair from Despicable Me, Rapunzel's tower, something that replicates a set from a movie or a build from a movie that looks really cool, try to make it as realistic as possible. 10 out of 10, love that idea. I love when people recreate Coraline's house. It's so pretty, like all the time. It's like, I love it. I've never seen someone do Gru's lair. I mean, that just popped into my head. I think it's a great idea to build. In Rapunzel's tower, I've seen a couple of times, but go for it. If you think you can build that tower, go and build it. I mean, it's just a great way to show how well you're able to build, and I think so many different people would love to tour it, would love to see it. So if you even brought it into like a neighborhood or public server, I definitely think people would love to tour it and love to see it. Okay, so that was 25 build ideas that could help save Bloxburg. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you made it all the way to the end, make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll see you next week. Okay, bye.